Hello and welcome back inside Kellogg Sports HQ. It's Henry back for another big season of college football and more action coming to you this fall. But we got to kick things off with week 1 of college football. So let's get after it. Well, we have to start off with the week 1 game day matchup. Everyone's excited to head to Happy Valley to see Ohio State take on Texas in the game day matchup. So these teams have a little bit of history just from last season. The defending champion Ohio State Buckeyes bested the Longhorns in a 28-14 affair between two highly loaded rosters. You got to remember, the Buckeyes had 14 players who were taken in the NFL draft, headlined by first-round pick Emeka Egbuka, alongside Travion Henderson, and many more players that are going to make an impact at the next level. And you got to remember, their best player from the last season, Jeremiah Smith, the freshman, is going to still be there to help lead the way for the new transfer quarterback, Julian Sayin, from Alabama. And that's really the question of this game. You look down Texas's roster as well. You had 12 players depart for the draft, including first-round receiver Matthew Golden to the Packers, Gunnar Helm, the tight end, Jaden Blue, the running back. Both these rosters are completely retooling in the weapons department, and they've got new quarterbacks. Texas is led by Arch Manning this year, who's the redshirt sophomore, coming in as a 5-star, all the Manning hype. Going to see how Arch can really play with the keys to the offense as his own. Now, he played well filling in for Ewers last year. He's got more experience than Sayin, but also he's not going to have necessarily the pedigree of weapons in the backfield. So both these offenses are going to be inexperienced. The defenses come back. I think this is going to be a defensive battle. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game than we might expect. And right now, it's Ohio State favored by 2.5 points here. They're playing at home. I think the Buckeyes are going to play well, but I think Texas is going to sneak out of here with a field goal. I'm going 24-21 in my prediction. I think it's going to be lower scoring than the outlets say. I think both offenses are going to be a little rusty, but this one could break open, and this is really anybody's game. The next game we have to cover is the next top 10 matchup of the day. It's the Fighting Irish. Well, this game actually happens on Sunday night. ESPN's spreading this one out a little bit, but it's the number 6 rated Fighting Irish taking on the Miami Hurricanes in Miami. This is the classic Catholics versus convicts game. The Irish coming off the national championship appearance. That team, guided by senior Riley Leonard, the transfer quarterback from Duke, who went in the 6th round to the Colts, as well as Xavier Watts, drafted to the NFL, Howard Cross, and Riley Mills, the other defensive captains for this Irish team. But there's a lot of questions hanging in the air for the Irish, and alongside the theme of new quarterbacks for the Buckeyes and for the Longhorns, it's new quarterbacks for both of these crews as well. You've got Carson Beck transferring over to Miami after the shoulder injury. Miami is just retooling with weapons around Beck as well from the transfer portal. They landed Keelan Marion from BYU, as well as landing C.J. Daniels, brother of Jaden Daniels from LSU, another 4-star. In the wide receiver core, they've landed Jack Nickel as well, and Alex Bauman at the tight end position, Jamarian Brown at running back, and the defense is also retooling for the Hurricanes. Now, I think there's more questions maybe from the Notre Dame side, having gone to the national championship, that Notre Dame fans want to know if this team can replicate some of the magic of last season. And now they're led by C.J. Carr, as we said, and the quarterback battle for Notre Dame was exceedingly close this fall. It was neck and neck. At some points, fans thought Kenny Minchey was going to be the guy. Some fans thought C.J. Carr was going to be the guy. In the back-and-forth race, the Irish decided on Carr to start the season, and this is going to kind of be a make-or-break game for Carr. And I know the Irish last year chose Riley Leonard to start over Steve Angeli, even through Leonard's tumultuous starting play of the season, losing to NIU, struggling against Miami of Ohio. He was a little bit all over the place. So CJ Carr needs to start out hot. And this environment here away at Miami brings back some historic rivalry between these two programs, and it's sure going to be something to watch. As well for the Irish, bringing back Jeremiah Love, arguably the best running back in the country. The Irish, along with Love, have Jadarian Price to spearhead one of the most physical and dominating running back tandems. They've got a host of returning offensive linemen across every position. Anthony Knapp to lead that at tackle. As well as on the defensive side of the ball, the Irish really have the advantage here. And so, yeah, the Irish are favored by 2.5 points on the road, and I think the Irish are going to get this one done by a touchdown. I'm going 28-21 for Notre Dame to then next take on Texas A&M at home. The next game I'm going to pick here, this one might not be as close if you look at the spread, but I think it's a game that's going to tell us a lot about two different programs. Two big programs that have a lot of stories, a lot of questions this year. I'm going here with Alabama versus Florida State. Alabama coming off a 9-4 season, disappointing in Kalen DeBoer's first outing for the Crimson Tide. They had a little bit of QB trouble with Jalen Milroe, a really difficult schedule going on the road against Tennessee, against LSU, and hosting Georgia at the start of the season. It kind of felt like Alabama threw all their cards on the table for that Georgia game and were just never able to replicate that magic, with disappointing losses as well to the likes of Vanderbilt and Oklahoma through the season. And Florida State coming off of a 2-10 season, which was preceded by going undefeated and missing the college football playoff after Jordan Travis's injury. Mike Norvell has a lot of questions to answer. He faced a lot of scrutiny from the media, and for a Florida State team that was one of the most talented, had some of the most NIL money going into last season, they had arguably the most disappointing season out of any Power 5 program in the country. So Alabama's favored by 13.5 points here. I think this one might be a little closer than we expect. I expect Alabama to get the job done, but you've got a lot of questions. For Alabama, it's a team coming back with loads of talent. Ryan Williams, one of the best receivers in the country, another 5-star freshman along the likes of Jeremiah Smith, just dominated college football and had some spectacular moments. That one catch against Georgia was just an unforgettable moment for Crimson Tide fans. But Ty Simpson coming in as a new quarterback. Alabama losing Justice Haynes as well, I believe, to the transfer portal. Boston College transfer quarterback Tommy Castellanos, new face under center for the Seminoles, and they still have just boatloads of defensive talent, 5 stars across the board. So the question is, how is Florida State going to respond after the disappointing season? Can they compete with Alabama? Can they give Alabama some trouble? How's Alabama going to look with a new retooled roster? It's a lot of questions to answer for opening day. And that one kicks off at 3:30 on Saturday. And one of the games of the day, it's the Saturday night late game. This one is an exciting SEC-ACC matchup. This is the one I might be most excited for. I just think that there's so much riding on this game for both teams. It's a matchup of the Tigers, LSU, going on the road at Clemson. It's the battle of two of the best returning quarterbacks in college football between Cade Klubnik against Garrett Nussmeier for LSU. And both of these players are likely, they're preseason contenders for the Heisman Trophy. They're going to enter the draft. This is a big game for Clemson, as some of the ACC competition that we've seen in the past. This year, Clemson's schedule is very front-loaded. They take on LSU to open the season. They're going to go on the road at Georgia Tech a few weeks later. We know how crafty and difficult Georgia Tech can be when they took the Georgia Bulldogs to 7 overtimes this past season in their rivalry game. Haynes King is back, one of the most dangerous dual-threat quarterbacks in the country. I think the Jackets are underrated. I'm siding with Josh Pate on this one. They take SMU on a couple weeks later. So Clemson leading the country in terms of players that are returning. So they've not had a lot of transfers. I believe they only added 2 guys in the portal. So Clemson, how is the Dabo Swinney method going to work in the transfer portal? This is certainly another big question. And on the LSU side, they can't afford to lose 3 games and still have a chance to make the playoff. It's going to be extremely difficult just with how tight things are in the SEC. So they take on Clemson to start the year. 2 weeks later, they're playing Florida, which is going to be a serious battle. DJ Lagway has been a little banged up, but if he's healthy, we know how dangerous the Gators can be. They're preseason ranked 15. A few weeks later, they're going to take on Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Alabama, Oklahoma, 7 ranked teams that they're playing this season. And you just got to think, if LSU loses this game, they almost have no area of margin. They might be able to lose to Alabama or to Florida, but they're going to have to win out the rest of the way. So this one is an important game just because of the stakes for both these teams. Can Clemson get in with 2 losses if they lose this game? They lose to SMU. Are they in the playoff? They likely will not make the ACC championship. In terms of scheduling, this one is tough. Both these rosters are also extremely talented. So I'm excited for this night game. Well, with all this week 1 action, hope you'll be tuning into college football just to see how these things unfold, as I will be all day. We've got games throughout Saturday. The night game on Sunday between the Irish and the Hurricanes is one game that I will be tuning in specifically with a little bit of extra vested interest myself. And I'm looking forward to college football starting back in just a week. Hope you are as well. It's going to be a great fall for all kinds of college football fans. Every program has some hope. With the transfer portal, the talent is spread out more than it ever has been. Thank you for joining us alongside Kellogg Sports HQ. We'll have more videos coming out about college football, about other sports. Please leave any suggestions for other sports, other things you'd like us to cover in the future. But that's all for now. It's Henry signing out, and we'll have more content coming your way soon.